Hello, today we're going to be going over how to perform an O2 cell calibration. If we're using an anaerobic workstation, to get to this function, we'll go to our menu key and we'll see that option on the second screen. If we're using an H or an M series workstation, we'll go to our oxygen and press the O2 cell calibration button and we're provided this screen. In the middle of the screen, we'll see a percentage, which is just the direct feedback from the oxygen sensor inside of the chamber. We'll also see two buttons that say 0% O2 calibration and 20.9% O2 calibration. During the calibration process, we're going to be isolating the O2 sensor to these two types of environments. During the 0% O2 cell calibration, we're going to be flushing the cell with nitrogen. And during the 20.9% O2 calibration, if you have an anaerobic workstation, we're going to be flushing the cell with air from around the laboratory. If we're using an H or an M series workstation, we're going to be flushing the O2 cell with air from your oxygen tank. So we'll also see two numbers above these two buttons that should always remain around 1,000 and 55,000. Due to the algorithm that we utilize with the O2 cell calibration process, these numbers should always remain around these two values. If we're using an H or an M series workstation, we're going to want to exit feedback mode. And then with all calibration processes, we're going to want to go into the chamber and close the calibration cell before we begin. Next, we should press the 0% O2 calibration button until this square in the top right corner of the button has illuminated red. Once this part is complete, we'll see a little progress bar that appears above this button and moves until this portion of the calibration is complete. Once this is complete, we'll move to 20.9% oxygen calibration and repeat the same process. So we'll press this button until the square in the top right corner has illuminated red, and we'll see the same progress bar. Once our calibration has completed successfully, we can go back into the chamber, open the calibration chamber again, and again, if we're using an H or an M series workstation, we'll want to make sure that our oxygen set point has remained the same, and we'll also want to resume feedback mode. As I mentioned earlier in the demonstration, on our calibration screen, we're going to see two directions that tell us to close the calibration chamber and also to open the calibration chamber. To close the calibration chamber, we're going to turn the chamber until it is tight to the ceiling of the workstation. This way the sensor is isolated to the cell above the workstation and we're able to actually perform the calibration. To open the calibration chamber back up, we simply twist it in the other direction until it is back open and can again sense flow inside of the workstation.